All right. We're ready to go. So without further ado, let's kick it off with Kirby's Air Ride by David J.
We're playing Kirby Air Ride, and then I guess my couch can kind of introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Chocolate.
I'm Amber CXC.
I'm Shasta. You just saw me.
What a guy.
And we have SK there as well, who was also just ran.
You're holding to you.
So basically, I'm going to be running through all 9 courses as fast as possible. I'm going to use a couple different vehicles throughout the run. We also have a bid war for color, so
We do, and thanks to some donations at the end, they kind of padded the lead for Pink. So Pink is in first place. So
we're now with Pink
Oh.
over
the original Pink.
yeah the late take over Brown. So
Nice.
It was a close war, but Pink came out on top with $220 over
Dang.
Yellow at 175.
Let's
Dang.
give
Oh,
a
yellow.
let's give a hand for that bid war, by
Let's
the
give a
way.
hand,
We're still a lot of
dude.
money at the
That
end.
was hot.
Awesome.
good job, guys, on the donating for that. That's good. Anyway, so I'm ready to get started. So if you guys are ready, I can give you a countdown. I'll go. Okay, you ready? All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So the first course I'm starting out with here is Fantasy Meadows, or Plantes, which is the name of the Japanese version. The Japanese version has different names for all the courses. Some of them are kind of silly. We kind of call them by the Japanese names most of the time because they're usually shorter, like fewer syllables. Kind of depends on the course, though. Also, the vehicle I'm using here is Rocket Star. It's like one of the best vehicles
I
in the
feel
game.
weird now.
First honking outside. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but
Somebody is having a hard time.
Someone's having a hard time on the street.
yeah.
Someone's mad that Brown
That was
didn't
really
win the
weird.
bid war.
Anyways,
So welcome to San Francisco. Anyway.
welcome to this driving game.
Yeah.
So one thing that's important about this game is you get more speed if you kill enemies.
Yeah, so that's really important. You get a speed boost whenever you kill an enemy. So that's one of the things that makes Rocket Star the best is because it gets a giant speed boost whenever you kill enemies or get any sort of boost. You'll see it pretty much like through all the courses. I'll be killing enemies, and my power-up management's pretty important for that.
There's a pretty cool thing with power management in this track, right?
If I was using a different vehicle, I would.
Oh, okay.
But so this vehicle I'm using here is Jetstar. Pretty much the main gimmick with this thing is that whenever it catches air, it gets a burst of speed. So you can see I'm like driving over these little lumps here. But the speed falls off pretty quickly when you're in the air, but it lasts a lot longer on the ground. So I try and drop to the ground as soon as possible, and I maintain the speed a lot better, and then I can get even more of these little jet dashes, is what we call them. So I'm kind of doing that. Also, those little green panels on the ground are boost panels. If you tap A on them, you get a speed boost. If you tap A twice, you actually get a speed boost twice. I don't really know if it's a glitch, just kind of like a tiny bit of an oversight, but it's a nice little extra bit of speed.
So is that waterfall like a set track that you have a set speed on, or do you
yeah,
actually get faster?
It works like a rail. It actually just is a rail.
Do you go faster if you kill enemies?
Yeah, it depends on the vehicle. So like if I was using Wheelie Scooter on this course, which is the other option, killing enemies in the river doesn't really make much of a difference. But with this vehicle, it does. I don't really know why there's a difference between those, but there is.
Right on.
So. There's also like this little rock thing up here. It's actually on a cycle, that little platform that I just drove over. Generally, I want it to be lower if I can, but sometimes I'll get the highest version. It's just a little bit slower, but that hillside's really cool because it just like drops down a bunch. So you can get a bunch of jet dashes in a row.
That's certified very fast right there.
Yeah. So that's actually like one of my favorite parts about the course. I can get a tiny bit better times with Wheelie Scooter, but since I'm going to be using Wheelie Scooter for a lot of the run, I figured I'd go with Jetstar for here, just to show it off.
Good
Yeah.
variety.
There's
Yeah.
this rat near the end of the. Wait, if you're using scooters, at the end of the lap, you can jump over that gap instead of dropping down to the vine. It's just with this star, it's
Yeah.
faster to drop down to the ground. Like you said, if you're in the air, then you lose speed really quick with this vehicle.
Yeah. Also, these rails that I keep hitting, there's just a mechanic in the game for a rail. Basically, if you touch them, you just kind of drive along them. You don't have any control, you just move forward. Usually move a little bit faster when you're on rails. There's a few cases here and there that you want to avoid rails. You'll see on like some later courses. The speed that you actually go on them depend both on your vehicle, but also different rails will give different amounts of speed. So 211 there is like a decent time.
By the way, did you explain what this category is?
Oh yeah, so this is just Air Ride all tracks. I'm just doing all 9 tracks with the Air Ride mode, using any vehicle as fast as possible. And I'm doing it in time attack mode because you have the set 3 laps for everything. There's no CPUs. The power-up enemy spawns are fairly consistent. There's like a little bit of randomness and like manipulation based on your position and like how many enemies are currently like spawned and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty consistent. And then also the speed boost you get from killing enemies isn't nearly as significant in the regular
So
racing mode. So
You're getting a lot of little boosts for hitting walls. Do you want to
oh yeah.
explain spin dashes?
So this is the wheelie scooter. This is the fastest vehicle in the game. That's what I'm going to be using for most of it. It's got several vehicle-specific glitches. First of which, or I guess, there's kind of like 2 that are pretty similar: spin dashing and like wall boosting. Pretty much, if you slide into a wall and charge at a certain angle, then you get a speed boost. But there's 2 different types of walls. Some that have like harder collision that bounce you away further, and some that have like looser collision. And usually the looser collision ones are like around corners and stuff like that. So if you kind of hit the wall a little bit, you can still like make it around. The harder collision walls I spin on beforehand, before doing it, and then the softer collision walls I just kind of charge into without spinning. And when I do that, I get like a large burst of speed. Essentially what's happening is the wall is just trying to like bounce the vehicle away. But if I'm charging and turning towards it, I kind of like overpower the like thing that turns you forward, so I continually get a speed boost across it. It's kind of weird, but it's really fast, so it's the main thing that makes Wheelie Scooter the fastest. Although Scooter does also get pretty good speed from killing enemies and stuff like that too, and boost panels. And then there's one more Scooter-specific glitch, which you'll see on the next course, and you also see on the second to last course. It's like probably the biggest like actual glitch, whereas like this is just kind of like a little bit of a like physics exploit. It's not really like much of a glitch, I would say, whereas the other one's like a pretty big one, which I'll explain later. But also regarding like power-ups, for the most part, I usually want to grab sword power-ups. They kill enemy power. If you pick up two power-ups, then you get a random cycler, and I happen to get sleep, which you just drive in a straight line, you can't move. So that happens. Also, sub 2 on that course is pretty good. So.
Right on. Congrats.
This is Frozen Hillside here. It's one of my favorite courses for Wheelie Scooter. It's like really fast. It's also one of the harder ones. There's a lot of spin dashing and stuff like that. Through this tunnel. So something I was doing there. So pretty much the inputs for spin dashing is you spin and then turn towards a wall and charge. But there's like a little bit more complication to like how you release this spin dashes, because if you want to maintain as much speed as possible, you either have to like have the spin dash like the wall end as it goes around a corner, or if you're like doing it on a flat wall, you have to like hold down as you release the spin dash. So to do that, you kind of have to like hold down and right or left. But if you do that with the joystick, then like you won't get a strong enough turning input since the controls are diagonal. Also, I caught air there, so I got 2 boosts off that booster. You aren't normally able to get double boosts with this vehicle because you don't have to tap A on boosters because you're already on the ground. But since I like caught air because I was going fast, then I dropped to the ground instantly and got 2. That's just like a little thing, but it's pretty cool. What was I saying?
Yeah, this game it's like very finessed, tight movement a lot of the time, where you're just trying to exploit the wall, and I mean, what do you know, like an average APM on this game, or?
It's kind of hard to say. So one of the things that's kind of weird about this game is that there's only a joystick and the A button for all of your inputs. So you'd think it'd be fairly simple, but the amount of like tech and stuff like that goes into building up speed and maintaining your speed and stuff like that ends up having a lot more nuance to it than I would expect. It's not really like super APM based, but it's definitely very precise for these spin dashes. Oh, I was explaining the spin dashes, right? So like I have to use the D-pad for it because I have to hold down and right at the same time. So for D-pads that are on like flat walls, or spin dashes that are on flat walls, I have to use the D-pad. It's kind of weird, but
The game is deceptively complicated.
Yep.
Words.
Yeah, that word is complicated too.
Yeah.
Shouts to Dale, by the way, in that tunnel there.
Light of
Oh
our
yeah,
lives.
Dale. Yeah.
Yes, light
Dale's
of
the
our
best
lives.
enemy in this game. It's little like glowing orb guys. I'll point them out in the next level.
Yeah, it's basically a meme in the Kirby Air Ride community.
Yeah.
It's not a meme.
Oh.
It's very serious.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
my
Dale's
bad.
our dad, dude.
Yeah.
You're right.
I guess the point of the Dale enemy was that he was going to be like a power-up enemy that was going to like pretty much give you like a light power-up and stuff like that like light up caves or something like that. But they kind of scrapped that whole thing. So now he's just like a no power-up enemy, like a garbage enemy that doesn't do anything. But he's only in caves, and like he lights up the caves and stuff like that. When you kill him, he like releases little light orbs. So it's just kind of a meme because like it's such like a random character to be exclusive to this game.
Yeah, it's only in this game, not any other Kirby game.
But it's pretty cool. Also, I'm using Rocket Star again here. This will be the last time I use Rocket Star. The main thing for this is because there's so many boost panels on the course that makes good use of it. Oh, I haven't really explained charging yet, if you're unfamiliar with the game. So that bar in the bottom right is kind of like it's kind of like mini turbos from Mario Kart. except it's like a continuous thing rather than like a couple different levels of it. Pretty much the longer you charge it up, the when you release A, the more speed you get out of it. So Rocket Star has like takes the longest to charge up, but it gets the most speed out of it. So this course is like fit really well for like using it at the beginning of corners and like, getting a lot out of the speed. So like I can charge there at the beginning and make it all the way over to here. I really said a little bit earlier that was bad. Also, those 3 little paths there, that rail moves on a cycle, so I wanted to get on the middle path, but since I released that boost a little bit early, I ended up on the right path, which isn't too bad, it just means I'm going slow. If I'm like on good pace, then I'll pretty much get the middle path easily every time, because the cycle's like every 13.33 seconds or something like that. My laps, if they're good, are around 40.
That bomb is pretty irrelevant.
Yeah. Basically, I just suck out that bomb when I drive by, because I don't want to suck up the bird. Something that is pretty important about this game, really quickly, I can skip a boost here because that sword enemy, and then it ends up being a little bit faster. I can only do it on lap 3 because that spawns, so that strat's free, so shout out to Card Strike. But anyway, so yeah, sometimes like you want to have a certain power up at a certain time so you avoid getting other ones. A big time for that is like whenever there's a bird enemy or also wheelie enemies as well. If you can't like fly over them or otherwise avoid them, then a lot of the times you want to like have another power up at that time. So like I just suck up either that like Bronto bird or broom guy or the bomb on the other laps just to avoid the bird there.
So we are running on the Japanese version of the game. What are the region differences between this and NTSC or PAL?
Oh yeah, so on the Japanese version, for some reason, all the vehicles are coded to be a little lighter, and then on the English version, like well English and then PAL as well versions, they're just like a little bit heavier. So for the most part, it doesn't make a huge difference, but for Rocket Star, it makes a really big difference because whenever you're like charging and sliding around a corner, okay, there was like a little windmill on the cycle there. I'll explain that again.
Hitting the windmill is a
It's
lot
pretty
slower.
Yeah. Anyway, so with Rocket Star, since like you charge as you slide around corners, if you lose more speed as you're sliding, then since the boost gives you a fairly like flat amount of bonus speed, then you would be getting, you'd like start your speed from a lot lower, so you'd end up with a lot less speed out of it. So it makes a really big difference with Rocket Star. And then with Wheelie Scooter, one of the glitches, which I forgot to explain on Coda, only exists on the Japanese version. So it makes the biggest difference on Checker Knights, so I'll explain it there. But then it has a little bit of use on Frozen Hillside as well. And then also if I was using Scooter on Celestial Valley, it would be good there. But I'm not. But yeah, this windmill basically runs on a cycle. It's about every like second or so. You have like half a second to get through and half a second to not. So basically you get like on the upper path there that like swirls around, and you can't do spin dashes on those walls. But in order to do like the soft wall spin dash, like or not spin dash, but like the soft wall charge slide, you have to be going kind of fast in the first place, and you kind of have to like hit it at a certain angle. It doesn't really work to do there either, so it's just super slow. You have to drive it around in a little loop. Whereas on the lower path, there's like a boost plate, there's a bunch of enemies, there's a little route you can hit to catch air, there's some spin dashes and stuff. So also, if I avoid that rail, it's pretty slow. That lower path is kind of weird because it like spins as it goes upwards, so it's like hard to just turn around. And that's kind of the same deal too. You can't spin dash on that either.
Do I have time to read a donation?
Go for it.
All right, so this was sent in a few minutes ago, but don't worry about it. It's very important. We have a $30 donation from Pear Strike.
Oh.
Pink is for normies and children. Yellow sucks too, but it's a little bit better. Good luck, David. You're my baby boy, and I can't wait to watch you run the speed game that is objectively the best speed game of all time.
Right. This is the best speed game of all time, by the way.
Thanks, Paulie boy.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
It's objective,
Thanks, Paul.
though.
Yeah, it is
Can't
pretty
debate.
objective.
Yeah,
This is
You're
the
right.
best.
Objectively, in his opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, his opinion is objective to him.
That's true.
So he uses Blue Kirby, so he's probably mad that Blue Kirby wasn't an option. But I use Red Kirby, and I didn't even make Red Kirby an option, so I don't think he can complain. Anyway, this is probably my second favorite scooter course, probably second favorite course in general. It's a really fast course. The whole thing kind of runs like on a chain reaction. It's really easy to like, or it's not easy to, but if done well, then like you maintain speed constantly through like a bunch of, I don't know, flying through the air, spin dashes, wall slides, and all sorts of stuff. Especially if I get this ending part right here really well. Hopefully.
the thing is, it just looks awesome.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, this
Look
part
how
right
fast
there.
it's going. Look at that.
So, and then if you
Crazy.
do it right, you lead, yeah, straight into that. So,
What a speedy boy.
so that was really cool.
Speed game.
But yeah, there's just like a couple sections where you just get a ton of speed, and then you just chain everything together like really fast. Also, that was nice. I shot that little star there and it happened to hit a wheel, which gave me a little speed boost.
I love it just shot of a can right here. Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite part of the course.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty sick. Yeah, those are the Dales right there, which I forgot to explain on Magma.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a little thing. If you are in the air with this vehicle and then you press A and drop to the ground, then if you're still holding A when you hit the ground, then you lose all your speed immediately. So I caught air a little bit on. There's like, I wanted to go to the side, but instead I have to take this, which is slow. Yeah, it was really slow. Anyway, so that's kind of an issue. If you're like in the air and you're trying to drop to the ground, then you have to be careful with that. Although that little mechanic is useful later for the scooter-specific glitch on Japanese that I haven't explained yet.
I love how you just way above the can right there. You still got shot at the can normally.
Oh yeah, it just like sucks you in even if you're like way above it.
That was pretty funny. I can tell what's going on right there. You're going so fast.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's just all over the place.
Yeah, that was a pretty good machine passage, especially with that big mistake that I had. So that could have been like a low 150, which is a super good time.
Best
Anyway,
song, by the way.
Yeah, best song, best course, longest course in the game.
This is just art. This is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just don't tell Pearstrike we said that because he hates this course.
Wow. What the heck?
Wow. First. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
first he insults everyone's favorite Kirby color, and now he hates this course. It's
I mean, he also just called me out for going into Twitch chat on my phone.
That's true.
So now he just and I just said that this is art. So I'm pretty sure I just lost a friend.
He's just being a meanie pants. What can I say?
so. Pearstrike is a pretty good friend of mine. He's another top runner of this game. So
Paul's our boy.
yeah.
He's my boy.
So that's why we're all memeing with him and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, it's just this is another like really high-paced course. Also, this is a really good lap. Anyway, the little glitch here is going to happen. Basically, I'm going to drive over a little lump on the ground, and then if you're charging when you do that, you get stuck in this state where you maintain your speed a lot better. So I actually missed a booster there, but for some
Sure doesn't
reason,
look like it.
yeah, if you catch air when you're charging, and then if you catch air when you're charging, then for the remainder of the time that you hold the charge, Wheelie Scooter gets stuck in the state where it maintains its speed a lot better than it usually does. So it actually happens here as well. So like I start charging here, and then pretty much I can just charge it all the way around to this corner. But it's even more significant at the end because you pick up a bunch of boosters. Yeah, you can use those spin panels to do spin dashes as well. So. Yeah, so a little lump there, and now I'm just charging, and I just kind of zip back and forth along all these. I'm going really fast. So I could do it even a little bit better than that, like at the ending there.
God, this movie's so good.
Oh, so these little jumps here are on a cycle. So if I'm playing well and I know when I'm going to get there, I can know when the cycles are, but I kind of wasn't really paying attention to my pace, so.
Alright, we do have a $20 donation from 1davidj Prime. Is that actually you this time? Okay, that's actually him this time.
It wasn't last time?
I mean, I guess technically it was. So when's 5 hot dogs %?
Oh.
Oh yeah, 5 hot dogs
That's a
percent
good meme.
is a hot, new, spicy meme where you go into City Trial and you try and get 5 hot dogs as fast as possible. There's no tech to it. It's purely random.
There's a little tech to it.
Yeah,
You gotta
there
go to the
is.
volcano. That's where it is.
Yeah, so
My
anyway,
goodness.
for the last course here, I'm going to be using Bulk Star. So this vehicle is really cool. So to start, you go backwards.
It'll all make sense in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, so this... the way this vehicle works is it's got the charge gauge, but instead of using all of the charge immediately to like release a boost, charging works as fuel. So it doesn't move unless it's releasing charge or if it has momentum. But the way that the charge works is it adds about 60 kilometers an hour to your speed over the course of the charge. So if you start from 0, which is normally what would happen if you're like charging in place, or from about 20 when you're sliding, you can get up to like 60 or 80. But if you fall off a jump at full speed, your charge doesn't start being released until you hit the ground. So then I can go from like 40 or so as I gain speed as I fall up to like 100 and something. So it ends up being the second fastest vehicle here. I could use Wheelie Scooter and it potentially can get faster times with just really good spin dashing,
But that's gonna kill your hands.
yeah, it's pretty hard in your hands. It's hard to do, and then it's not as fun to watch or to do. So I'm using bulk star here.
He's just hanging on for dear life, dude.
Yeah.
I love the cinematic angles we're putting on this as well too.
You love what?
The cinematic angles we're putting
yeah.
on this.
Yeah, I've practiced a lot moving the.
This track is like 1 part Rainbow Road and 1 part Final Destination.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Fascination.
Yeah, so in case you guys have noticed, the menu sounds actually come straight from Melee. So this is very Melee inspired, and yeah, we've got
Same
Final
with the
Destination
menus
going
as
on
well.
here.
This game made by Sakurai as well. We made
HAL
Smash series.
Laboratories.
Yeah, HAL Laboratories as well.
Also, if I just like ride along this curve here, it keeps my speed a lot better than if I was like trying to turn manually. So
Hi.
Hi Kirby.
Yeah, there's another category that runners have been running a lot more often, like Per and David have been running more recently, is All Tracks No Dupes.
yeah,
which
so basically with that what that category is you don't use any vehicle more than once. So like if I was playing like super optimally, I would probably use scooter on 7 of the 9 courses. I used a couple other options here to show off some stuff because I wanted to and I have time. But so basically the no dupes category is because just about every vehicle in this game has some sort of unique, interesting tech and has some place that it's relatively useful compared to like its average level on the course. So because of that, that's like what I've been running more recently and stuff like that. But I decided to show this category off instead because it's kind of like the main category, even though people haven't been running it in a while. But anyway, I'm coming up on time actually. Sorry, I forgot to give you a warning as soon as I cross the finish line. Time. Yeah, sorry about that, but yeah.
Hooray.
Let's go, David.
Good stuff, dude. What's your PB again?
PB is a
19.
19 something. So
Or, well, 19 in real time.
yeah, real time is a 19 something.
'Cause
So
use in-game time, right?
well, yeah, so for the category we calculate it in game time, but so that was probably about 30 seconds or so off my PB. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was a really solid
really
run,
solid
dude.
That
run.
seemed
Really
good.
solid.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
And
happy
with
about that.
using left optimal stuff.
Especially like machine passes, we're going like really fast all of a sudden.
I need
That
to
was
show
great.
one thing really fast if I have it unlocked.
Go for it.
Do I? I do. Not only is bulk the best vehicle, it can also fly. So let me see if I can
Oh,
get it.
Oh,
twist.
this is
go,
this
dude.
is so
Great.
good. Oh, this isn't the right one, is it?
I can do it here too.
Okay.
Hopefully, if I don't mess it up.
There we go.
So as soon as I release A, for some reason, if you mash A a bunch, it gives me like a bunch of upward momentum.
That's so weird.
Although if I hit the ceiling, then I'm kind of screwed. Oh, I saved it. Okay, I didn't hit it hard enough. So I'm trying to like avoid hitting the ceiling, but
Is that cheese things out and stay for 100 checkboxes for his
Yeah.
run as
Yeah,
well?
you can just get the.
For one of the mini games at the very end, you have to like get like a ton of heights.
No, it's
Is it
it's
higher timer to
distance.
get checkbox?
Yeah.
That's distance, right?
It's a distance
I think
one.
there's
So
another
you
one
just
for
you use it to just keep going forward because you just keep
That's
going.
true, yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Either
It's a
way,
good meme.
It's really cool.
yeah. So that vehicle's pretty cool. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and send it up to Amber,
Yeah.
who's doing the next round.
Great
actually.
Good run. Thanks so much, guys.
All right, that was an excellent run of Kirby's Air Ride by David J. Thank you very much, David. So we are going to be having Amber doing Mario Kart 8 DX, bonus tracks, 200cc, no items. I honestly have no idea what that means, but don't worry, it's going to be explained to you. So stick around. We're going to be setting up the next game. So while we are doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick ad break. So be back in just a moment.